Hello everyone, this is your 5 and welcome to the Cobra Man Central Toy Review. And today we're looking at the 2008 release by Hasbro of the 25th Anniversary G.I. Joe action figure review. And today's action figure review, we're looking at the missile specialist Sergeant Bazooka. Now I got this straight from eBay and this cost me about 40 or 50 ringgit with shipping, of course. It's a bit more pricey compared to the retail pricing back in 2008. They sold about 25 or 30 ringgit there. Problem is, by the time I wanted to get this figure in a lot of toy shops near my area, well, they sold out and they never restocked, so I have to resort on getting this figure straight from eBay. Now let's take a look at the front part packaging itself. The front part packaging bears a lot of resemblance to the 1985 release of Sergeant Bazooka's card. Of course, for this version they added the smaller TV image there stating from the G.I. Joe cartoon series, and the artwork style is a bit different compared to the 1985 Sergeant Bazooka artwork, especially on this version. The original 1985 release, the left arm there is supposed to be bit more closer to the bazooka he's carrying, and of course the hat and the facial expression is a bit different but close resemblance. Now it's a very nice little artwork, but let's take a look at the packaging itself. And as you can see, there's the figure inside the packaging and he's wearing his hat. The backpack full of missiles is next to him, and next to his hand here is the bazooka itself, and behind him is the base stand. You can see that he's being supported by my iPod there because the packaging can't stand by its own. Now at the back portion of the packaging you get the rest of the lineup, very nice. And at the bottom here is the profile card stating Missile Specialist, codename Sergeant Bazooka. You got a nice little image of him, and file name Katzbogen David L. Primary Military Specialty, Armor Defeating Weapon Systems. Secondary Military Specialty, Tank Driver. Birthplace Hibbing, Minnesota. Grade E-5. Now in the write-up it stated, Sergeant Bazooka was driving an Abrams tank in the quote and unquote 3rd Horde, 3rd Armored Division in the bracket, when he came to the realization that an illiterate farmer armed with a $200 disposable rocket launcher could knock out a $1 million tank with less than 2 weeks training. He puts in for a transfer immediately. Now the original profile card would have another line here stating all the, his skills. So we'll continue on from this part here. Training, Advanced Infantry School, Fort Benning. Armor School, Fort Knox. Qualified Expert, Dragon Anti-Tank Missile, Millen Anti-Tank Missile System, Law Rocket, Recoilless Rifle, Law System, and All Warsaw Pack RPG System. He is also EOD, bracket Explosive Ordnance Disposal, qualified up to the Tac Up category. Very interesting. And the bottom, someone quote, Sergeant Bazooka is a decisive, fast thinker with all the instincts of a natural survivor. Very nice. So without further ado, let's open up this packaging so we can molest the figure. Be right back. And we're back after the reviewing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from packaging. Now let's take a look at Sergeant Bazooka's accessories. We'll start off with the base stand here. It comes with the 25th Anniversary style of a G.I. Joe base stand with a nice little G.I. Joe logo on the top with 2 pegs for the figure to stand on. And the nameplate there stated as codename Sergeant Bazooka. Now at the back here, stated as 2007 Hasbro made in China. Next, he has a military helmet, which is very nicely done. The entire thing is made of a beige plastic material, as you can see here, with a little bit of paint job. There's grey line of paint job surrounding the entire helmet itself, and the strap here is quite interesting more. As you can see, the strap here is also painted in grey, and from the inside all the way to the end tip here there's a smaller button which you can hook it here. As you can see, there's a hole there, just like an actual military helmet. And when you place the helmet onto Sergeant Bazooka's head with this clip on, you won't be able to remove the helmet unless you pop off the button. Quite nice. And of course this is the only accessory available for Bazooka. Next we have the missile launcher here, or the grenade launcher here. Very nicely done. Now the entire thing here, the entire barrel is actually made of black plastic material, but the entire handle here is actually an add-on. So you got a handle and a trigger, and you got the strap here, so you can hook it onto the shoulder or place it at the bottom section of the backpack, like so, when you're not using them. Also, there's a hole here where you can load the missile, like so. Of course, it doesn't launch the missile. There's small little details there. There's also a shoulder pad to place on the shoulders itself. Very nicely done. Small little details, quite simplistic. Next, we have 4 missiles, which you can store at the back portion of the backpack here, where you clip it like so for all of the missiles. Shown like so. Now the backpack is quite nicely done with the details. They got the area to store all the 4 missiles on the top section of the backpack, and the bottom section here is his bag. Nice little details of the straps here, and a water canteen, very nice details. And the bottom section is to store the bazooka here. Nicely done. And the back portion here, you can see this section is hollowed out. Very nice. Now let's take a look at the figure's paint job. Now the figure is quite colorful, as you can see here. I really like the colors being applied onto Sergeant Bazooka. Of course, some parts are not painted, some parts are, typical of Hasbro. Let's take a look at the entire head sculpt here. The paint job of the head. The hair is painted in black. The eyebrows, the pupils, even above the eyes there's a bit of lining there, and his mustache. I really wish the mustache is a bit more thicker. This mustache is a bit too thin compared to the artwork. It doesn't look, well, it does look a little bit like Sergeant Bazooka, but needs a bit more mustache. Very nice. The flesh tone skin is not painted. However, for the torso here, the flesh tone skin is painted, and nice colors actually. They actually match up the colors a little bit, except for the flesh tone skin is because that's a plastic material color and this is painted color. As you can see, the neck here is painted with blue linings and white linings. The entire torso of the red here is all red in plastic. But you got a nice little number 14 there. You got the football jersey going on. Very nice. The lower abdomen is not painted, it's all pure plastic color in red. The sleeves is also painted in red with the white, blue and white lining, but some of the lining starts to fade off a little bit. Not all that perfect with the paint job. Now the flesh tone skin for the arms and hands is not painted except for the wrist here. The wristband is painted in green. Now for the belt is a separate piece, which quite surprisingly enough, this is a separate piece. As you can see, I can move it a little bit, but I cannot remove the belt, of course. This is a separate piece. Nice little sculpt. Now, as you can see, there's a bit of paint job on the buckle there. Now the crotch area is painted in red because it's actually made of a red plastic material, as like the abdomen area. The thighs here, the upper thigh is not painted. However, the lower legs here, the knees, just below the knee here, this section is painted. But the lower shin here, the calf area, is actually pure grey plastic material. The straps are painted in black. Now for the boots itself, the boots is made of a black plastic material which is painted in grey. Very nicely done. Now let's take a look at the figure's mold. The mold is entirely unique for Sergeant Bazooka. There's none of the other figures that I would have noticed that actually would use Sergeant Bazooka's unique mold. So far Sergeant Bazooka is the only one figure for the 25th line that's not, well, the body parts are not being reused so many times, which is a good thing actually. His body is rather beefy, as you can see here, like a football player. Very nicely done. Very muscular on the torso here. He's much more beefier compared to the other G.I. Joe figures for the 25th line. The arms are really beefy, especially on her upper bicep here. My god, it's beefy with muscles. Head sculpt is alright. I just wish the mustache is a bit more thicker. Very nicely done. The legs are really thick. Very nicely done with the details. pockets, very nice pockets. The belt is nicely done with the details. Really like the size of this figure. The straps as well, very nice. Let's take a look at the figure's articulation. The head can actually pivot down a little bit, up a little bit, side to side a little bit, and turn 360 degrees. Torso here can turn 360 degrees, go back a little bit, go forward a little bit. Shoulders here can turn 360 degrees and lift the arms this far. And elbow joint here can bend forward this much and turn left and right. Cannot turn 360 degrees because it's being hindered by the excess elbow part here. And then you can bend the arms, the hand back a little bit. Wrist joint here can turn 360 degrees. Hip joints can move forward, back a little bit to the sides. No double jointed knee, which is quite surprisingly to find out. So he bends his leg this far. And ankle joint that bends down, up, and turn 360 degrees. Overall, the figure is actually quite nicely done. Not a lot of accessories, but I really like this figure. And he's quite simplistic, and I really love the mold. The mold is very unique to, well, Sergeant Bazooka. So if I'm going to give a rating on this, despite his simplicity form, I really love the mold. And I really love the character. So if I'm going to give a rating on this, I really like the mold and the paint job. Really bright colors, especially on the number 14 there. Very nice. If I'm going to give a rating on this, I'll say I'll give it a nice 8 out of 10. Yes, nice 8 out of 10 for Sergeant Bazooka. So I thank you all for watching. This is Lucio5 and I'm signing off.